Welcome back to the Discover podcast, where we view faith as a discovery journey with Jesus to help you become the person God created you to be. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Discover podcast. This again, if you tracked through our season diligently and faithfully, you might remember that we did a mid-season podcast, a mid-season reflection episode that looked very similar to this. We're not in our set. There's no guest. It's just me. And we just wanted to take a minute and kind of let you know where we're at with the podcast and kind of where we're going. So when we set out on this journey to launch a podcast, at one level, I've had ideas for podcasts over the years, and should I do one? Should we do one? And I've always thought to myself, like, does the world really need another podcast? I mean, there's so many out there. Every week there's new podcast starting up. And the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge is to say, yes, we should do this. In part was to have it come with our Storytellers initiative, specifically so that we could highlight and profile stories of people in our church. And so we just set out this first season to do that, to say, let's see where this goes. Let's try that. And I said it in the mid-season reflection that we had a lot of people engage with those early episodes, and people were very encouraged by them. There wasn't a week that was going by without somebody saying, hey, I'm enjoying this, I'm listening to it, I'm tracking with it. And so we hit this point around Easter where we said, hey, let's try and do something a little bit different. Let's try and invite some quote-unquote experts onto the show to talk about issues that might help people get unstuck if they're feeling stuck around anxiety, shame, those sorts of things when it comes to their own story. And so we did a handful of episodes with some counselors, therapists, and spiritual directors, and got good feedback on that as well. And as we think about sustainability with where we are at with the ministry cycle and the ministry year, we've now hit this point where we're on the back end of VBS. We're a week away from the 4th of July, and over the next 6 weeks, the staff is going to go in all sorts of different directions. Monty's going on a mission trip with students. I'm going to speak at a couple camps. Monty's going on a backpacking trip. Jake's going on vacation. Chris is on vacation. So everybody's just coming and going. Everybody's doing different things. And so for the sustainability, for our sake, we said, hey, let's try and finish up season 1 before we hit 4th of July, and then that gives us 2 months to retool for season 2, starting sometime in the fall. And so this is kind of our official last episode of season 1, which again we kind of titled season 1 Storytellers to pair with the Vision Initiative. But we have loved doing this. This has been a lot of fun. And so we plan to come back for a second season in the fall. It will probably pair with what we are going to be doing teaching-wise, which the plan right now, once we hit the fall, is to start teaching through the book of Acts, to see how in that moment the story of God's people moves out into the world. And if what we're saying as a church is, anchored in Psalm 107 verse 2, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story, we want to be people who go out into the world and know what our story is, know what God's story is, and know that we have a story to tell. And so that's kind of where we're going to be going in the fall. And so somehow the podcast will pair with that as we find our way into the fall season and beyond. But we just want to say thanks for tuning in, listening in, and we also would love to hear from you about what would be helpful things for you to be a part of this podcast. Are there conversations? Are there questions? Are there issues that you're working through, whether in your own faith journey, whether in different family situations, whether it's in, raising your kids and you're thinking like, hey, it would be helpful for me to think through this as I raise my kids in the world that we're living in, or as we see cultural shifts take place, how do we think about cultural shifts in light of our faith? Or, hey, in the workplace, how am I supposed to think about being a Christian in the workplace? So what we want to engage you and engage conversations with you that would be helpful for you to live out your faith faithfully, to discover more of who Jesus is and what he has for you, and how you can be a faithful follower of Jesus in all areas of your life. So this is a wide open invitation to say, hey, give us feedback. What is it you want to hear? What kind of conversations would you love to either participate in with us or sit in and hear with us as well? And so as we kind of go into summer, as we're kind of fully into summer mode now, one passage that has always just been an anchor for me in my own walk, and I hope it's true for you as well, comes from the book of Philippians. It's Philippians 1. Philippians is a great book. It's one of Paul's more encouraging, upbeat, positive books and letters, and that's really interesting because it's juxtaposed with his circumstances, which are not great. He's thought to be in prison, in chains, maybe even on death row, but yet he's writing this upbeat, joyful letter, and it starts with this incredible tone of, he says, "I thank my God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now." Paul's recognizing that these people in Philippi have partnered with him, have supported him, have sent him out into the world wanting to continue the work that he's doing. And then he goes on to say, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. And so my encouragement to you as we kind of finish up season 1 that's titled Storytellers is that you would see, believe, and know that your story isn't over, that God is not done with your story, that he's still in the midst of writing your story, no matter how long your story has already been in existence, and that you would have the same confidence that Paul has, that what God started in you, he's going to bring to completion, and that you would know that we as a staff and leaders are praying for you and desiring to be in partnership with you to help you become the person who God created you to be. And so, again, thanks so much for tuning in, and continue to give us your feedback on how we might engage you in this conversation moving forward to help you become who God created you to be. Until next time, until season 2, have a great summer.